Gilbert and Vic. What?
It'll be a smasher. Shame there's not more swelling.
Shut up.
See, the more swelling, the better it looks. Ah, do you see?
Shut up, Kendall.
Like a badge, your black eye's like a badge.
Shut up!
How can I hold my head high, avoiding the cracks in the pavement?
The lads return at the same time next week, and the comedy continues tonight on BBC One in half an hour when Blackadder goes forth.
A handsome prince, a little frog deserves a kiss. Never mind the wicked witch, your mum won't be there. How can I hold my head high, avoiding the cracks in the pavement?
Good times in 1977, a nation united for the Jubilee.
There was this vast crowd, unforgettable.
Hard times in 1992, a marriage crumbles, a castle burns.
The Windsor Fire was a very symbolic occasion. You had to feel this marks the end of an era.
The Queen reigns over a changing kingdom.
Mrs. Thatcher came to power determined to force institutions to justify themselves. Inevitably, that affected the monarchy.
William Shawcross explores the ties that bind crown and country and the forces that will shape their future. Monarchy, Part 1, 10:10, Monday on BBC One.
Jonathan Ross visits the locations of The X-Files and Twin Peaks, and Kathy Lett samples the delights of Buenos Aires. BBC Two goes travelling in a moment.
He hunts the highlands. He tracks in terrain that's barren and wild. Friend and foe to the wildlife he nurtures. Champion of age-old customs. Jack of all trades and master of most. Tough training and tough life lessons. Discover the spirit of the hunting man in The Gamekeeper, starting Friday 28th July from BBC Scotland on 1.
This is BBC Scotland on 1. Now the 9 o'clock news with Peter Sissons.
The Bosnian Serbs say Zepa, the second safe area they've targeted, has surrendered. As the Serb offensive continues, the Western Allies consider a new threat of airstrikes to protect the safe areas that remain. Letting 14-year-olds divide their time between school and work, government plans get a mixed reception. And the Prince of Wales is cleared of blame, but says he'll never take the controls again. Good evening. Within the last hour, the Bosnian Serbs have said they've taken a second UN safe area, the town of Zepa. Just 8 days after the Serbs took nearby Srebrenica, the mayor of Zepa said that widespread panic had broken out and civilians were fleeing. Earlier, the UN, who have 79 peacekeepers in the enclave, said they had information that the Bosnian Serbs had entered the town. Tonight, the Bosnian Serb army said simply, Zepa has surrendered. But in Sarajevo, the Bosnian government denied the Serb claim. The developments came after a day of intense diplomatic activity by the Western Allies. And as the political leaders try to salvage something from the wreckage of UN policy on the safe areas, it's looking as if the likely outcome will include a renewed threat of airstrikes to stop any further Bosnian Serb advances.
Pictures of Bosnian Serb troops on the march have been dominating their news programs. Tonight, the Bosnian Serb army claimed the safe area of Zepa had been added to their list of victories. The UN says it has unconfirmed reports that the Serbs entered Zepa town in the late afternoon. The arrival of the Serbs is said to have caused panic, with thousands of civilians fleeing ahead of their advance. The UN is waiting for clear orders about how to respond, and dreading the prospect of another inconclusive international compromise.
It'll be extremely difficult. I think we would then be subject to really what the parties want, what they decide, rather than what the international community has decided. So one hopes that we will actually get some clear direction.
The relief agencies who are dealing with the refugee crisis caused by the fall of Srebrenica may now have to deal with another wave of terrified, traumatized civilians, this time from Zepa. A few Bosnian soldiers who fought their way out of Srebrenica are still arriving in the government stronghold of Tuzla, and if they're lucky, finding their families. The Bosnian government has appealed for international help to rescue 8,000 people from Srebrenica they say are still trapped behind Serb lines.
Their chances are very slim. Unless the international agencies get to these people to protect them, there is very little chance any of them will get out alive. People are being killed there every day.
The enclave of Gorizda, where 300 British troops are deployed, may be the Serbs' next target. They've issued an ultimatum, ordering Gorizda's defenders to lay down their arms or face attack.
We are not going to tolerate the strongholds of terrorists in our territory, terrorizing the Serbs, killing innocent people. They have either to get agreed with Serbian authorities or unavoidably it's going to be a fight.
The son of Amir Hadjic was killed by Serb shells in Sarajevo today. The boy had left their cellar to go to the lavatory. Mr. Hadjic brought his family back from Germany only 2 months ago because they were homesick, because they couldn't get much of an education as refugees. 12-year-old Adnan Hadjic was rushed to hospital. The doctors couldn't save him. A few hours later, Mr. Hadjic said his only comfort was that he was like thousands of other fathers here. Only the world can stop this, he said. This city and the rest of this country is waiting to see what the world decides to do. Jeremy Bowen, BBC News, Sarajevo.
Here, MPs have begun an emergency debate on Bosnia, amid signs that the government is moving towards tougher action to protect Gorazda. The Prime Minister has spoken by telephone with the American and French presidents. Lady Thatcher today repeated her call for an end to the arms embargo on the Bosnian government and said the West's present policy had failed.
The aircraft carrier Invincible left Southampton today to replace HMS Illustrious in the Adriatic, supporting United Nations efforts in Bosnia, which have proved neither invincible nor illustrious. But after calls tonight between the Prime Minister, President Bill Clinton, and French Prime Minister Alain Juppé, agreement was nearing on new airstrike warnings designed to deter the Serbs from attacking the threatened safe haven of Gorazde. Talks have centred on how rather than whether to save Gorazde, and the three leaders are agreed they must hammer out a unified line before Friday's London conference of the contact group countries. Britain's new Defence Secretary visited troops in Bosnia at the weekend. In an emergency Commons debate which began less than an hour ago, he was under pressure from MPs to demonstrate that Britain and its allies now had the will to back up UN threats, despite the Serb leader's warning that UN troops seeking to defend Gorazde would be attacked. Megaphone diplomacy, he warned MPs, could cost lives.
I have to be responsible about what I say about these matters. There are those who would like to know